الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ثم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قال إنما أوتيته على علم عندي أولم يعلم أن الله قد أهلك من قبله من القرون من هو أشد منه قوة وأكثر جمعا ولا يسأل عن ذنوبهم المجرمون رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. Surah Al Qasas begins from the very beginning passage. It describes the destruction, the coming destruction of Fir'aun, one of the greatest tyrants and criminals that ever lived. And at the end of the surah, Allah Azza wa Jalla describes a different kind of tyranny. This is a tyranny over one's own nafs, and that's the tyranny of Qarun. Just Fir'aun declared his own, gave credit to himself, and declared his godhood over others. And Qarun has the same problem. It's the same kind of tyranny. It's the same kind of self-absorbed, narcissistic worldview, but it's on himself first. And when he says, I acquired all of this based on knowledge that I have, إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَىٰ عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي, in the very same ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla then responds to him and says, أَوَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ, didn't he know? Was it the case, or did he not know? أَنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ أَهْلَكَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ مِنَ الْقُرُونِ, that Allah has already destroyed, no doubt about it, He's the one in fact that has already destroyed, much before Him, all kinds of towns. مِنَ الْقُرُونِ. Allah didn't talk about the destruction of individuals that were like him. The statement He made was about Himself. And Allah says, did He forget that I have destroyed entire villages, entire towns, entire civilizations, and how many of them? كَمْ أَهْلَكْنَا مِنَ الْقُرُونِ is an expression in Arabic, أسلوب التعجب هذا. إذا قال كم يعني الكثير الكثير الكثير, how many I've done, how many towns I've destroyed. Did He not know that? مَنْ هُوَ أَشَدُّ مِنْهُ قُوَّةً وَأَكْثَرُ جَمْعًا. In each of those towns, the kinds of people that lived, someone who was much more powerful than he, much more intense than he is in terms of power. وَأَكْثَرُ جَمْعًا, and far more when it comes to gathering wealth. Who does he think he is? The rage of Allah in this ayah in response to his attitude. It's not even the next ayah, it's in the same ayah. Allah starts talking about how He destroyed towns that were filled with people that were much more powerful than he was, much more wealthy than he was. And then He adds to the end of all of it. Criminals, when they're about to be punished, at least there's an interrogation, right? There's an interrogation before they're punished, or before the authorities come and get them. There's a, were you guilty or not, and all of this. Allah says, وَلَا يُسْأَلُ عَنْ ذُنُوبِهِمُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ. وَلَا يُسْأَلُ, is that ma'ruf or majhul? يُسْأَلُ. Majhul. The criminals, نائب الفاعل المجرمون, the criminals are not going to be asked about their sins. When the authorities are so harsh that they have already passed the verdict, and you get the criminal and you don't even give him time to make his excuses. They don't even have to be asked. The case is complete, the file is full, the evidence is all in. You go straight for the punishment. وَلَا يُسْأَلُ عَنْ ذُنُوبِهِمُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ. SubhanAllah. That's all one ayah. And it began with Fir'aun saying, or Qarun saying, I acquired this based on special knowledge that I have. It's mine. عَلَى عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. As Allah's response to him. Because Allah sees this as no different from, this is the kind of language you would expect Allah to use with Fir'aun, right? Didn't He know I've destroyed towns before? Didn't He know the kinds of high crime? But this ayah is coming about Qarun to teach us that, the enemies of Islam, they're on the outside and they're on the inside. You see, the surah warned about the enemy from the outside, which was Fir'aun. And the enemy on the inside of Bani Israel was actually, I think the battery died, that's fine. The enemy on the inside was Qarun. He was a munafiq, he was the enemy on the inside. And both of them, Allah's rage is elevated with them. Beautifully in the next surah, Surah Al-Ankabut, this is part of the cohesion in the Qur'an and the sequencing of the Qur'an. We find later on, وَقَارُونَ وَفِرْعَوْنَ وَهَامَانَ وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابِ, وَلَقَدْ جَاءَهُمْ مُوسَى بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ. So anyhow, وَلَا يُسْأَلُ عَنْ ذُنُوبِهِمُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ, criminals will not be asked about their crimes. What is the crime of Fir'aun, or Qarun rather, in the ayah? What action has he done? Actually nothing. Nothing yet. Actually, the next ayah describes one of his acts, and you would think maybe, he spent his money on some haram thing, and therefore Allah, destroyed him, etc. The only thing that's mentioned so far, the only thing that draws this much rage from Allah is his obnoxious statement, which is a product of his obnoxious attitude. That's all. That's all there was. I keep saying over and over, our religion more than anything else is a way of looking at things. It's a worldview. And there is a way of looking at things that is criminal to Allah. And that's what Qarun had, even though he claimed to be a believer. Some ulama tell us he was cousins with Musa alayhi salam. Actually cousins with him. He was family, you know. فَخَرَجَ عَلَى قَوْمِهِ فِي زِينَتِهِ. In the next ayah, just the beginning, I'll share with you and we're done. فَخَرَجَ عَلَى قَوْمِهِ فِي زِينَتِهِ. He came out upon his people, decked out, فِي زِينَتِهِ. He just wanted to really, after people told him that you should watch it, he said, forget that. And then he became even more of a show-off. And he came out to the people and he's, you know, I mean, you can imagine this, the Bani Israel lived in a ghetto. And they were in difficult circumstance. And here's this one guy with his elite horse, trampling slowly, making sure everybody takes a look at him. And all these people around him are like, oh my God, that guy. Look at what he has. Look at that ride. Look at the clothes he's wearing. Ya layta lana mithla ma utiya Qarun. Oh, if only I could have what Qarun had. Oh man, he's so awesome. He's so lucky. إِنَّهُ لَذُو حَظٍّ عَظِيمٍ. He's so lucky. I wish I had what he had. Literally, people are looking at him and saying, I wish I had what he had. SubhanAllah. And this is after, you know, having wealth isn't a crime in our deen. Having a beautiful, you know, ride or good clothes and all these are not crimes in our deen. But when they are based internally on the attitude, this is something I earned, this is what I deserve, then they become high crimes. Then they become something Allah destroys and, you know, annihilates over. So may Allah Azza wa Jalla protect us from building this sick kind of mentality that leads to destruction in this world and the next. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.